Alrighty guys, in today's video we are comparing my brand new Canon R6 Mark II to my iPhone 14 Pro Max. I actually am recording on both cameras here to see how they both do in a studio environment. Which one looks better? Now with the sound, I actually have an external mic up here, so that is recording the sound for both devices in the studio. Once we do head over to the park to compare them in the outside test, my R6 Mark II will have an external mic on top, a shotgun mic, and the iPhone will have no mic except whatever's coming in from the actual phone itself. So the inbuilt microphones is what will be used. Now I just want to see the difference between a $5,000 plus setup compared to my iPhone, which is about $2,000, but that is a phone that you can browse the web with, and it isn't just for photography. So it'll be really interesting to see the two difference in the cameras and see which one actually stacks up the best. And can you just use your iPhone to make simple YouTube videos? Is it going to make that much of a difference? It'll be really interesting to see. I also want to take a few different photos to see the difference in the quality of photos. But apart from that, guys, let's head over to the park and check out the quality on both cameras. Come out to the park now to test out the camera. I've got it in just standard settings. It's not log 3 on the Canon R6 Mark II right now, but I will put it in log soon just to see the difference. If you are paying for a camera that is $5,000 or $4,000, but plus your lenses and whatnot, you want to see what the camera can actually do. But as a fair comparison, straight up, I want to just do the stock settings for the R6 Mark II, neutral color settings, and my shutter speed's at 1/50th of a second, f1.8, and my ISO is at 100. I do have a ND filter on the front as well, just to help with the shutter speed, keeping that down. But apart from that, everything else is just stock settings. Obviously, you can see my head's being tracked with the eye tracking. I want to try and switch over to my phone and see what the difference looks like there, and just get an idea of what the difference you're going to get outside. Because I know inside the studio it is going to be different, and outside it's going to be another difference as well. So it'll be interesting to see. I do have a Rode video mic go on top as well, recording the audio. So I think the audio should be pretty good. But apart from that, yeah, I think we're all good. Alrighty guys, we are recording now on the iPhone 14 Pro Max with the standard wide camera at 4K 25 frames a second. I am in cinematic mode as well, as probably you can tell why the background is so blurry. I want to test it out, guys, see what this iPhone looks like outside compared to the R6 Mark II. We have tried inside the studio, so we do know the difference there. But what I want to know is, do you need to spend $4,000 or $5,000 on a setup to get great quality, or can you just use your iPhone? Because I know how far smartphone cameras have come, so I really want to put it to the test. There's something like this, an external mic, you need obviously lenses, you need ND filters. So I got a variable ND on this to ND32 to change the shutter speed and that, or can you just record normally, press play, and everything looks good? I really want to test that out, see what it sounds like, see what it looks like coming straight into the iPhone. No external anything, just iPhone itself. Can that get you through? So it'll be interesting to know the difference in quality. You guys can hear there's planes above me flying around, so I want to see how that does, how well it picks up my voice. It's actually a really, really good test to check it out to something that's more situated for video and photo than just a standard phone. Let's do another few tests. I want to do some photos and check what they look like. But this is the video part, and yeah. All right, guys, we are recording with both devices now. iPhone 14 Pro Max and the Canon R6 Mark II. Just walking around, see how the stabilization does, see how the dynamic range is, see how the focusing is. If we go up to something like this, I don't know how these are both going to focus. It would be interesting to know, see what they both look like. I am recording at f1.8, again 1/50th of a second on the R6 Mark II. The iPhone I'm not sure, because that's just recording in its normal settings without me touching anything, automatic settings should I say, and just panning around, seeing what everything looks like at 25 frames a second. I think the dynamic range on the iPhone does look pretty good, and because we're not recording in Canon log 3, it might be pretty hard to see and probably blow out a lot of those highlights on the R6 Mark II. But this is the test. That will be pretty interesting to see what they both look like. I am still recording in the normal settings on the R6 Mark II, but I'm going to switch over to C-Log 3 in a second, and I'm also going to try out Prores Raw on the iPhone and see what that looks like, and then I'm also going to do some photos, but that's after the video. Anyway, let's switch over to C-Log 3 and see what it looks like. Alrighty guys, I've switched over to C-Log 3 now. I'm going to do a bit of a edit now on this portion of the video, that's C-Log 3, to see the difference in comparison with colors, with the high dynamic range, and see what the difference is. I want to see if I can pull back some shadows, some highlights, and see what they both look like. And like I said, I'm also going to switch over to the iPhone and do a ProRes RAW test as well, and see what the ProRes RAW from the iPhone looks like compared to the R6 Mark II. And just before I do the test, I just want to say this isn't an in-depth comparison. This is just to showcase what both devices can do. If you're just trying to record some video, I'm not trying to go in depth in all the settings and do a side-by-side complete comparison. This is just a quick side-by-side or a quick comparison just to see the difference in the quality and in the settings, I guess, but not in depth. Just a quick side-by-side, so if you guys want to check it out, see the differences between your iPhone and R6 Mark II, if you're in the market for a camera like this, then this is the type of video for you. If you want to go through all the settings and what the cameras can both do in detail, this isn't the video. I thought I'd just point that out before everyone starts getting angry in the comments. Alrighty guys, we are finally recording in ProRes Raw on the iPhone 14 Pro Max at 1080p 25 frames a second. I want to see what everything looks like, how the dynamic range is, how the colors are. I'm going to do a color grade on this as well and compare it to the R6 Mark II and see what the differences are. If you guys just saw the video then with the ProRes Raw on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, it had to be really quick because for some reason I had about 15 gig of storage left, but it wouldn't let me record in ProRes Raw. So it only gave me 20 seconds of recording time. That's why that section was so fast. So you guys know, I tried to delete everything I can, but it still wouldn't let me record in ProRes Raw for more than 20 seconds. So I don't know why the storage situation's like that. But anyway, that was the comparison, ProRes Raw versus C-Log 3 in the color grade, and see what the differences are. For now, we're done from here. I'm gonna just take some photos, and then when we get back to the studio, we can go through the comparison of both devices. Alrighty guys, I've just got back to the studio now. I was taking a look at the footage that you guys would have seen already, and I think the iPhone 14 Pro Max looks absolutely unbelievable. I think it looks really, really nice, coming straight out of camera. The colors are really vibrant. The dynamic range is awesome. Just everything out of that looks really, really nice, coming straight out of camera for a phone camera. Don't forget guys, it's coming from this little sensor, not a full frame sensor like my R6 Mark II has. Obviously, the R6 Mark II does look better when you start tweaking the colors. I think, obviously, when you get to C-Log 3 and you start playing around with the colors, that was just a basic edit that I did on there. You could obviously put a LUT on there and start adjusting the colors much more. I'm not really one for adjusting too much of the colors. I'm not one for color grading too much. Like, I just know the basics. But I think it looks really, really nice. Just the basic edit I did do on the C-Log 3 footage. So there's not too much I can say, guys. I'll leave the photos at the end of this so you guys can see those as well. To see the differences, I'll put them side by side, R6 Mark II and the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and see which ones you guys like the best. Let me know in the comments down below. If you're thinking about using ProRes Raw, for my initial test on my iPhone, I didn't see too much of a difference. Obviously, in certain lighting conditions, I'm sure you can pull better color out of ProRes Raw, and obviously there's more detail, and it is more of a clearer picture. But the problem I had is it takes up a lot of storage. So it's not as easy as tucking the SD card in there and obviously filling up an SD card, swapping it out, because your phone is your phone. And if you have other photos on there or videos, you're gonna have to start deleting things. And I think it just becomes a lot more of a headache. So I think if you're starting out, I think obviously in cinematic mode, you can't even record in ProRes Raw. ProRes Raw is just normal, pretty much footage, without the background blur like cinematic mode is. So if you're going to try and start off, I think cinematic mode, which isn't ProRes Raw, is perfectly fine, and I personally would go for that. I think with the right lighting conditions, the right lighting in your studio or in your room wherever you're recording, I think the iPhone camera will look really, really, really nice. Something like an R6 Mark II or a mirrorless camera of this quality, again, I don't think you can go wrong with a camera like this. It looks great in most lighting conditions. In low light, it's going to be pretty good because it's a full frame sensor. Obviously outside, you saw how well it did in the studio. You can see how well it's doing now. I am recording in C-Log 3 as well, so I will color grade this. See the difference from the start of the video where I wasn't recording in C-Log 3 in the studio to the end now where I'm recording in C-Log 3. I want to see how much better the colors can look and how nice the shadows and highlights do look as well in C-Log 3 within the studio, because this is the first time I'm actually recording a C-Log 3 footage in the studio, so it'll be really interesting to see. You guys let me know what you think of it in the comments down below as well. And thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe for more videos. If you have any other ideas you want me to do with my R6 Mark II, let me know as well in the comments, because I'd love to put them to the test. So thank you for watching, stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys in another video.